I was born in it.
Let's get it, baby. The name is Law Nation. One way or another, we're going to continue to grind and shine. The revolution. Yes, the rhythm of the nation, baby. Let's continue to grind to shine.
Again.
Let's get it. Shout out to everybody. The HBOs, the SJ Share Gang. Sharing is caring. Be sure to share this content around the globe. Yeah. And beyond the ice wall. Let's get it. Come on. Week 1 roster. Jerry Wayne Jones confidence. And Tyler Smith. Let's get it. Yup. They really say ain't no party like a cowboy party. What about a Law Nation groove, baby? Come on. Tell the haters to lean forward just a little bit. Right here. Come on. We run it, and we rock it. Let's go. Yes, sir. Come on. Shout out to 105.3 The Fan for this wonderful interview. We're going to be tuning in to that as well. Come on. Let's get it, baby.
The absence of evidence is not the evidence of absence. Simply because you don't have evidence that something does exist does not mean that you have evidence that something doesn't exist.
Hey. Right. Let's get it. Come on. It's Mr. Nasty time, baby. All right. What's up, everybody? Really appreciate you so much for tuning in. Shout out to the TikTok community. Shout out to my Instagram people as well as my Facebook groove. I love you guys so much, and you can't do nothing about it, right? And, of course, the YouTube channels. I really appreciate you guys. If you guys don't know, if you don't know me by now, then you would never, I'll just play it. But if you guys don't know me by now, my name is Law Nation, and we're going to go over what Grandpa said, right? Grandpa Jones, we're going to go ahead and say that. You know, to the tick, to the top, we don't stop. Yeah, I see you, Greg Berry. Alex, appreciate you. J. Lombardi. Johnny says, we got to wait for him to pass his physical, and that's Jason Peters. You know, I may sometimes slip and say Peterson, right? And who make mistakes? Show of hands if you make mistakes. If you don't make mistakes, then let me know. Show of hands as well, you know. But I tend to say Jason Peterson, but it's Jason Peters. So he got to pass his physical, right? And there are some other things that I heard that he have some other issues that's beyond physicals, right? And I'm not finna say it openly, but it's to deal with the immunizations. So he need to play, basically. You know, not everybody has been good with their immunizations or with their funds. If that can go smoothly with people, he have a little issue with that, and that's what the bird told me. Tyson Kemp says, Law Nation Cowboy Day party all day with the $5 super chat. I appreciate you. Electric slide button, baby. Y'all make sure y'all slap that. y'all slap that like button, baby. Right? But I want you guys to do another thing for me. Just one little thing. There's a button called share button. Sharing is caring. So if you guys can do that, that goes a long way. You know, that's more valuable, believe it or not, than that like button. So share it because it can go across the screen to someone else that's in the UK, that's in Canada, right? The Canadian Football League. You can go to somebody over there and they can figure out this channel and all of the good stuff. I appreciate everybody for tuning in. And then when you do that, slap that notification bell.
Be sure to pluck the notification bell for more content.
No doubt. Just don't look like that guy when we do that. Appreciate me. Let me know too when you did do those things, when you hit that like button and share. That goes a long way with the nation. All right, so now that we got all of that out the way, let's just tune in to this right quick.
Let the Cowboys Experience introduce you to a whole new way to enjoy a Cowboys football weekend. Experience the ultimate Cowboys player and fan event at Toyota Music Factory on the Texas Lottery Plaza, making lasting memories by booking at cowboysexperience.com today.
Yes, indeed. 817-888-1726, and you will be in the mix, Cowboy Nation. And I can't wait to see y'all beautiful faces out there at these events. And I promise you, you will not have a good time at all. You won't. You will have a great time. As Tony the Tiger would say, great. You will have a great time over here with us. And I promise you that will be the whole mindset of having a party with us. And we have some good people that are already committed to it. And I can't wait. Look, we're going to have a Hall of Famer there too at the event. So call that number, hit us up, be out there at the event. Look, we going to try to do these events so much that even Jerry going to fly the helicopter. He going to say, hey, I need to go out there and see what they doing because it look like they having a good time over there.
I want me some glory hole.
We might not have that for you, Jerry.
Good morning, Kevin, Mike. It's great to be on with you, boy. Great to get this season going and got a lot of promise here, a lot of things to be excited about, and but it is good to be on with you guys.
And when you talk about things to be excited about, I know you know how Cowboys Nation works, and there was a lot of pep in people's steps when they heard that Jason Peters was coming for a visit. Can you tell us anything about how those visits and or physical negotiation, anything you can tell us about that?
Well, he's here getting physicals. We all know him. He was a really outstanding Arkansas player, and we're very familiar with him. I've really watched his career and the entire time he's been in the NFL, and we're going to sit down here. I'll meet with him in just a few minutes, and we'll sit down here and
cup of coffee,
see how he's doing, how his physicals have been, and go from there. But I don't have any more to talk about there.
So, Jerry, when it comes to this team, I think for the first time in a while, Dallas Cowboy fans feel the strength of the team is the defense. Can you talk about the strength of your team from your perspective?
Well, I think that's I think you could say that. I still don't in any way want to diminish the skill that we have with our quarterback and our running game and running backs and frankly our receivers. And I know with the loss of Amari, we've had some people say, well, it looks to me like you're a little less there. What I think we have in general is that we have more value on the field than we've had in the last several years. I think there is a lot of value in having this defense be what it can be to support what is obviously a coordinated, complementary game to do it right. And so bottom line is, I think we've managed since last year to have more value out there for what we're spending.
That dude said value, Shout out to Jerry Jones on that. Shout out to Jay Versick. Jerry ain't getting no glory hole until he gets out the way. Shout out to you, Jay Versick, man. Jerry getting that glory hole, man. Y'all leave Jerry in that glory hole alone. Eastside Harold with the hate donate. I appreciate you, man, with the $2 super chat. He says Texans sign O.J. Simpson. Oh, I'm sorry, Howard. Making good moves. Okay, shout out to O.J., man. I don't know if he's going to cut it over there, but we'll find out, man. We will see you sometime this week. When do we play the Texans? Y'all let me know, Cowboy Nation. But shout out to Eastside Harold, man. Always supporting the channel, man, with support hate. I love it, man. Keyshawn, appreciate you. That's on the Facebook as well as Ray Ramsey. Let's get it.
Now, when you talk about that value, at least part of that plays into the salary cap, and we all know that. How do you feel like your team generally does with the salary cap, and do you feel like the money that y'all have available for this season could be used if another player comes along?
But if you don't use it this season, it's there for your use, so to speak, for the next season and the next season. As a matter of fact, we have already extended players to get room into this season, and we've extended. In other words, we've made available dollars on the credit card. And that's principle not to do that. You'd like to basically hold back on extending or hold back on redoing contracts and let those really get in sync with the years that you had possibly intended or wanted on the contract. Now, it is impossible to have a discussion on the nuances of cap and rules and the nuances of who you can keep on your roster, who you can't at this time. And frankly, you have to sit down, and anybody does, and spend a lot of time going over it. I like where we are, though. I think we have done outstanding. But I want to make sure everybody understands we have planned to do what we are doing. And it's very important that we look and plan ahead. And we do have, I think, in our receiving corps, and we do have in our pressure on defense, we do have some outstanding value there that I think more so than any years past.
Do you feel like that?
Stop the cap.
Suck. Jerry, come on. No. I love my guy, Jerry. You know, we love Grandpa Jerry, but hold on. You can't say that you planned all of this to happen. No. There's no way that they planned this to happen, right? This happened by circumstances, and we will find out whether or not this can all work out. Now, saying that you okay, all right, so we're gonna pay Amari Cooper just to cut him and release him to try to get a 5th round draft pick out of him. No. My thing is, I'm going to try to give you guys the real raw and uncut, but no way he planned all of this to happen. This is quite sure happening, and we are in a wait and see. Now, here's my 1,000 truths. If all of a sudden Cavante Turpin just 1,000% hit, Dennis Houston 1,000% hit, right? And any other undrafted guy, right? Like let's say Peyton Hendershot. You literally, I would have a crow about the size of my head on this screen, and I'll eat that crow. And I really think that the Cowboys did hit on Dennis Houston, by the way, and Cavante Turpin, by the way. So at one end, I'm looking at it like, what the world of Cowboys are doing. On the other end, I'm sitting there like, yeah, Cavante Turpin, man. You know, the dude can take the top off the defense, 4.29 speed, right? And on top of that, when you think of Dennis Houston, came out of nowhere, getting first-team reps, trumped my guy, Noah Brown, Simi Fehoko, TJ Vasher for playing reps and all of those other things. So we'll find out, but ain't no way, man. Ain't no way he planned all of this to happen. That would be crazy, right? But let's go.
Plan has worked out, because this is a name that obviously comes up all the time with Ezekiel Elliott. Some people would argue that perhaps if the contract hadn't been kind of pushed down the line just a little bit more with the guaranteed money, that he would not be on this team this year. How viable do you think he still is as a player?
I'm smiling because I can remember it was just months ago when people were talking about how important it was to get him signed. How could you not realize what he is for the team? And, of course, then when you get him signed, then you move on. And, of course, what does happen is you have to pay the fiddler.
Fiddler.
And when you pay the fiddler, you pay him dollars that you're not paying to a guard, or pay him dollars that you're not paying to a defensive end, or pay him dollars that you're not paying to a receiver. And so the facts are there's no free lunch. Every dollar you spend on a player is a dollar you can spend someplace else. So what is the goal here is to get the most value for those dollars that are out there. Mm-hmm. And you've heard me say that recently, and I'm dwelling on it a lot in the off-season, availability. And we've taken a look at where we've been. We've taken a look at where we've been recently or where we are right now and said we can do a better job than this. We can get more for our dollar, more for that. Those dollars are just like if you were in college, the dollars are the equivalent of scholarships. And those dollars get you players. You can give it all to one player, and when you do, you don't have available to go to the other player. The more you pay the quarterback, the teams that pay the big ticket on the quarterback, they have to sacrifice other places. That's just the game. That's a big nuanced part of the game.
I got lost in the translations. All right. I get what he's trying to go at, right? You pay money here, meaning that you're going to have less money to pay there, right? Now, when you say those type of things, and financially speaking, I understand you pay the quarterback, then you won't have money to pay the defensive edge guy, or you pay the defensive edge guy. You won't have. The craziest thing, Cowboy Nation, is that the whole point of the salary cap is that everybody get the same amount of money, right? There's nobody who get more money or less money. Everybody get the same amount of money. Now, what you do with said money is up to you. Nevertheless, here's the other thing to it. You don't get out what you don't get in return of putting in, meaning that you got $23 million on the table sitting there, right? And if you say to yourself, I'm trying to win, I need to utilize that $23 million, right? And on top of that, when we talk about the money that being spent, there was also a hidden relations to the time frame that you had Dak Prescott, that you didn't pay him, right? For up to 5 years? So you should have been utilizing the money and the resources that you had then to make sure that you are putting things into place, right? So that's the craziest thing of it all. There should be zero excuses to teams when it comes down to payment, because everybody gets the same amount of allowances, right? So now what you do with your allowances can come back to bite you, right? But there's no gun to the head to say, hey, I got to pay this guy, or I got to squeeze money to pay that guy. It goes all the way back to the parable, right? With the talents, right? Look, if you're not using your money to try to better your team, and I'm going to use them paraphrasing, right? If you're not utilizing your coins, your money, your talent to better your team, and you trying to hold on to it, saying that, hey, I'm waiting for 2023, I'm waiting for 2024, we don't have that crystal ball. You literally got to use all of your money now. If not, the team that went out there to utilize all of their money tend to make it further than you, because you're trying to be safe with it, right? You got to use the money, and you got to methodically use the money as well. This is not checkers. This is chess, right? All right, so I got a super chat. Shout out to you, Andy Smith. Thank you so much for the super chat there with the bird, man. I appreciate you so much for that. But it was already given that Ezekiel Elliott, one of the better running backs in the National Football League, right? It was already given that you had to pay DeMarcus Lawrence. But there should also be within the confines of those conversations that if you pay them top dollars, you better have a concise plan of what you're trying to do in order to win football games. But scared money don't make no money, right? And he knows that, right? There's not a successful person who didn't take the calculated risk. You got to. There's no way around it. And you can't expect to continue to chop for cheap to get good results. You can't. You got to spend the money. All right, let's listen to more what he has to say.
It's a very competitive part. But I like where we are. We've unquestionably done some changing this year.
Jerry, next
to looking in the future.
Right. Salary cap really don't exist because you can take money and spread it out and then push contracts for the next year, right? The only time that you can get bitten by it if the NFL collectively don't grow. It's kind of like having a credit card, to use that example, and let's say we use small numbers. You have $25,000 spending limit, right? And you get up to, hey, I know you guys calling in. The phone lines won't be in until we finish up this excerpt here, so just hold your horses if you're calling in. All right, so it's kind of like you got $25,000, right, on your credit card, and every year you get pretty much a buyout every year. So the next year, automatically, your $25,000 goes up to $40,000. And then after that, your $40,000 goes to $80,000. That is what pretty much the salary cap been for the last few years. It increases every year. It increased not by a small percentage. It don't go from $25,000 to $27,000. But what the Jones family tend to do is they like to paint the picture to tell you guys, hey man, next year this credit card that we've been spending on is only going to go up $28,000. That's not enough money. Whereas you see another team knowing that it's going to go up to $40,000, and they already write future contracts. They already have contracts that's in the books that's going to jump up to $40,000 that they can automatically absorb some of that hidden extra money that they're going to achieve. Law, do you have any information on that? Yeah, look at the L.A. Rams. Law, do you have any information on that? Yeah, look at the Bills, Buffalo Bills. They pay crazy contract to guys that they really want because they already calculate in the future. Whereas the Cowboys play it safe, and they would like to be a certain percentage below that number. Whereas, yes, we got more purchasing power now, but it don't mean a hill of beans if you're not going to use it all. Sitting on $22 to $23 million right now, it looks good on paper, but it don't save you, right? So now when all of a sudden next year come about, you can clearly say, all right, well, I got money now to play Trayvon Diggs. I got money now to pay CeeDee Lamb. Where the other team did already say, well, hey, you got money, but we got the Lombardi, right? Because we used all of that money so that our team could be better to 2022, not be better for 2023, 2024. We don't know what tomorrow holds for us, right? You can think about paying Trayvon Diggs next year, and Trayvon Diggs, and knock on some wood, Trayvon Diggs can fall on his face for this year, right? So now you're saying, oh, the $23 million that I was saving for next year, I got to make sure that I really want to pay you that money. So now I'm going to put you on the, now you got to prove it to me one more time, right? Because they can't put him on a franchise tag next year because he's not really eligible for that because his contract is not over with. But you guys get what I'm saying. So that's the game that you play, right? But it is what it is. I hope people understand, right? If you got a credit card, $25,000, right? And you've been spending, they're going to fool around and give you a forgiveness check at the end of the year. And then on top of that, the next season, it's up to $40,000. So you get the forgiveness of $25,000. Now you got a net of $40,000 that you can spend. But you told everybody, hey, I stayed under $25,000. What, you want a cookie? You want a candy bar for that? No, we want results. That's what we're looking for. All right.
Looking in the future will be better for.
Jerry, next Sunday you get to take on Tom Brady for the second time, opening up the season. Last year after they'd won the Super Bowl. I've been watching Tom Brady and Man in the Arena. He's obviously the greatest quarterback of all time.
Yeah,
he probably scares you a little bit. I was wondering, out of all these years in the NFL, what player has scared you the most to go against?
Oh, I think, frankly, Favre, back when Favre could.
No, Jerry. Favre never won in Cowboys Stadium, right? Favre wasn't the biggest guy that we had sweating after of. Now I get it. If you go back to Brett Favre when he played for Minnesota Vikings in that playoff game, yeah, but Brett Favre collectively, y'all look up, he wasn't very a threat for the Cowboys. But let me finish, man. I had to get that out because, Brett Favre had not been a threat against the Cowboys in his entire career, especially when it's time for Brett Favre to play in Texas Stadium. Can somebody put that down in the chat? What is Brett Favre's record versus the Cowboys at Texas Stadium? Come on, he wasn't a threat. But let Jerry finish. I cut him off. My bad. Let me stop cutting off. Jerry, let me rewind. Look, Jerry, I can hear him now. You said you cut me off. You didn't let me finish. Long, you got to let me finish.
Your damn act together.
Okay, all right. I'm going to get my act together, Jerry. I'm going to leave you alone.
I think, frankly, Favre, back when Favre could basically, he could mess up a defensive scheme, mess up the plan just by his impromptu play. That would be what I'd call a scary player. We played some teams.
Randy Moss, yeah.
This Donald of the Rams. I think he's a player that gives you pause. Any of those guys that you have to single out, and you have to actually adjust your game.
Yeah, Dre Maddox says Favre is 4-9 versus the Cowboys. All right, and can somebody dig a little deeper? What's Brett Favre's record while we at home against us? I believe most of those nines are 4-9. Most of those losses came when he tried to play us at our home, right? Favre was 4-9. Randy, no rings, yeah. Who else gave us fits? I believe all of the Mosses gave us fits, man. Randy Moss, who remembers Santana Moss, man? I said, man, Eddie Moss gave us some fits. I said, man, is it Santana Moss, whoever that was for the Washington team? I believe, man, he kept me up all night. I said, man, what is this little small? He was a smaller Moss. What was his name? Aaron Rodgers, yeah, Brian Bradford. Aaron Rodgers been a pain in our side, a thorn in our side for a long time. I will give you that. 0-9 at Texas Stadium, yeah. Believe it or not, I think that we kind of faced Drew Brees pretty good. I think we handled Drew Brees pretty good. Even when Drew Brees came here to Dallas, we kind of took care of Drew Brees. Jake the Snake Plumber, yeah, he crushed us in that playoff game. But Tom Brady got to be the most fierce guy. Deshaun Jackson, yeah, I give you that. Russell Wilson, I don't think Russell Wilson been that dude. It's been 50-50 with him. Even in 2015, when that team was more superior than ours, we still gave him a run for his money. The final score was 6-9. I think we've been down the middle. Santana Moss been that guy, though. Man, Rodgers has the arm, but we got Micah. Yeah. Let's listen. But Brady is undefeated, right? So Brady by far is the guy that been a thorn in our side as well, right? Even going all the way back to 2007. When we played him in the regular season, it was crazy that year. And then going back to 2015, I can recall most of the times it was crazy for us. Free Smoke says Megatron. That was a fun game. Megatron versus Dez. I'll go back and watch that game. That was a real fun one because Dez was ready. He was about that. But then again, our defense was very crazy. Deshaun Jackson, variations of Deshaun Jackson. Not the Washington team, Deshaun Jackson. The Eagles, Deshaun Jackson gave us troubles. And then last year, the Raiders, Deshaun Jackson. Oh, my gosh, man. So, yeah, the Eagles, Deshaun Jackson. That was just terrible how he ran all the way in for that touchdown against the Eagles, turned around at the 1-yard line and dove in there. I was like, yeah, that was crazy. Donovan McNabb, I think we caught up with Donovan McNabb. He gave us fits earlier in his career, then we kind of caught up with him, especially the Redskins or the Washington Donovan McNabb. That was crazy. Let's go.
Game plan for the offensive coordinator when he's playing a defense, and you have to account for him. That changes your offense up. There are players like that. I think we've got one or maybe two. And, boy, that can make a difference, and that can tilt the edge your way. But I think generally speaking, you say, well, but don't you want to run the offense that you're comfortable with? The idea that we're going to run it, and we're going to run it in spite of what they stack up there. I'm a little dubious of that. I think you've got to make adjustments, and you've got to have the flexibility in your preparation, which is spring and your fall camps, to be in a position to make adjustments in November and December.
No doubt. Oh, if y'all want me to go way back, I could tell you who's been a nemesis to us, and it's been the Denver Broncos, right? It's been the Denver Broncos. Look, the last time, somebody pull it up, the last time we beat the Denver Broncos had to be in the 90s, right? And every time we've seen or faced the Denver Broncos, crazy things happen. I believe it was 2017. To lead pick 6, Dak Prescott. Oh, my goodness. And then they was talking about Ezekiel Elliott gave up on the play. And then just last year, oh, my goodness, Denver Broncos, man. It don't matter. You can pull up all Denver Broncos games, and they've been a thorn on our side. Like 2013, my guy Tony Romo put up 500 yards on these Denver Broncos, and they still figured out a way to pull it out. And that was a come-out party for our guy. Y'all remember that? Claiborne. Claiborne had his best game ever, and we still end up losing that game to the Denver Broncos. It's just been crazy for all of those years playing against the Denver Broncos. I hate the Denver Broncos now, man. Haven't beaten the Denver Broncos since 1995, right? They just doing their thing. Let's listen to more what they have to say.
Also, Tom Brady talked about in the Man in the Arena suppressing success. He said this came from Bill Belichick, and whether they'd won 21 games in a row or whatever they'd done, Bill Belichick would make sure he suppressed that success, that the next game is the next game, and they won, obviously, a whole bunch of Super Bowls doing that. I know your team in general, since Troy Aikman has left, hasn't been able to repeat as a division champ. What is going to be the difference this year that for the first time in a long time you guys can be the division champs back-to-back years?
Well, I think this, you said back-to-back. I started to say we have had division championships, and we've won a lot of games. However, we have not been to and won the big game, the Super Bowl. I've gotten, on a personal basis, I've been a part of 3. The Cowboys have been a part of 5. They're hard to get, and we all know that. You have to. Coming in second or third doesn't count in this business. It gives you a little better taste in your mouth to stay in the playoffs longer. But really what you need to do is be betting it to try to get to that Super Bowl. No one would deny that I'm a risk taker. No one.
No doubt. Jerry is a risk taker. We played the Denver Broncos in the Super Bowl, right? And what year was that? And did they have a ex-Cowboys quarterback as their quarterback as well in that Super Bowl? Y'all let me know. Educate me. Please let me know. But, yeah, I mean, that's a good trade-off for them to continue to beat us since 1995, but I think I would take the latter, right? I would take that because we did beat them in 77, 78. Right. Who was the quarterback? Who was the 2 quarterbacks, right? Okay. Bush Johnson. Okay, no, I don't think he was. Yeah. Y'all put it down there, man. Let's go. Let's listen.
I take risk, and I do it every day in my life. And so there's a proper time to take some risk. We have taken them, and we will take them. They didn't pay off for us to the tune of getting us a Super Bowl. I hope that some of the risks that I take in the future, that coupled with some good decisions on the cap, get some players out here, get numbers of players so that we can have a more balanced team so that we can get more out of our salary cap dollar. I hope those kinds of changes will result in a change from where we've been, and that's not getting to the Super Bowl. But I do that every day in my life.
Do you feel like some of the risks y'all have taken football-wise that maybe didn't pay off is what led to those changes you were just talking about and the way you handle the cap?
No. Really, you should recognize, and if you will, honor your bad decisions. And you should learn from them. And all of that is cliches almost, but it is a real fact. And I don't know of anybody that has ever gotten all the decisions right. And that's trite. It's usually not who makes the right decision. It's more about when you've made a decision, if it's a bad one, cut it off quick. But if you've got a good one, let it run. God didn't make it so that anybody could just make all the right decisions. That's not the way it works.
Now, when you were on with Sean and RJ on Tuesday, you said if this was a Super Bowl, you envisioned Michael Gallup playing. I'm curious, with that in mind, do y'all think maybe week 2, maybe week 3 is when we might see him? Do you have a more specific timeline at all?
Okay, he's coming off of his injury and is in really outstanding position right now. The reason that I said if this were a Super Bowl is because if he gets it nicked up or gets hurt, I think everybody understands it maybe, but the writer that wrote that, if he gets hurt in a Super Bowl, you've got an entire off season.
Right.
Yeah.
You've got an entire off season to.
Well, I mean, Jerry, just say, hey, man, I was just speaking, you know, in general, but he's not going to be ready until like week 5, maybe week 6. And if he come anytime before that time frame, it'll be a plus for us. That would be the better way to handle the Michael Gallup thing. He's not ready, guys. He's not. And he's been working the chords. He haven't been in any formations. He haven't been in any route concepts. He haven't gotten hit yet. So there's a lot of gray area with Michael Gallup. The best thing the Cowboys should do in this situation, 2 moves that the Cowboys should have done. And they did one by getting James Washington, right, getting another veteran wide receiver, but he's hurt, right? The other move would have been going back into the pool and getting another veteran guy. But they went with, hey, we like our guys, we're going to trust the youth. And so far, the wide receiver with the most experience on this team is Noah Brown. So that's the bed we got to lay in. And I truly believe that CeeDee Lamb will elevate up to the next level. He was a first-round draft pick, so we have expectations, high expectations for CeeDee Lamb to take over, right? This will be a tall task for him. And Simi Fehoko, Dennis Houston, all of those boys still got to go through growing pains. So that is the reality of it all. Preston Williams, I've seen somebody keep saying that. Gallup week 3. Shout out to you, Chris Graham. And it is what it is. And he mentioned God, right? He said God will allow people to make their decisions, right? It goes back to your set of decisions will always still be followed up by your consequences, by your decisions, right? We have total free will on this dimension. We can do what we want. But also, you got to understand and contextualize that there will also be consequences to your decisions, right? I remember David after he defeated Goliath. And the seer came to him and he had to fight Goliath, brother, and all of those other boys, right? And he won and beat those guys. And the seer came to him, who was pretty much a person that had direct communication to God or can hear from God. And he said, hey, I feel where you at, but don't count your troops. And out of David's decisions, he decided to count his troops anyway, right? It's cool. He counted his troops, made it appear that, hey, these are the things I've done. And then Seer came back to him and said, hey, you disobeyed the direct message. Now there's consequences, right? So now there's going to be famine in the land, or we're going to bring forth a plague, right? There's going to be desolate death all around you because of your decision. And the craziest thing of it all, Cowboy Nation, based upon his decision, other people had to cherish. Other people had to perish. Other people had to be into that type of situation because one man wanted to do a certain thing. You see, it goes to this point. Most of us that's watching this been fans of the Cowboys before Jerry Jones bought the team, right? And based upon his decisions, we have no control of the outcome. We just rooting for the team. Like I say this all the time, he bought the team financially. We already bought this team emotionally, right? So at the end of the day, we have to fall under Jerry Wayne Jones' decisions. We have no control of this. We don't. We got zero control of the outcome. We had no control when Jerry Jones, we thought he was, at one hand, when you thought that he was brilliant for bringing in Jimmy Johnson, right? Never been seen, never been heard before, where you grab a successful college coach, right, to be your head coach in the National Football League. Never been done before, right? And look how that worked out. 2 Super Bowls with him, right? So what good for the goose, good for the gander. But we have to fall under the decisions of Jerry Jones. We have no control of it. He's the owner, period, right, Monet? So we can't do nothing about it. But we can still root for this team. We can still say, hey, go Cowboys at the end of the day. And we can still use the slogan that the coach that brought you 2 rings, one can argue 3, even though he wasn't here, Jimmy Johnson. And we still use his saying, how about them Cowboys to this day? Let me know if I'm wrong.
Come back. If you're doing it the first game of a long season, 20 games plus maybe to count going through all the playoff games and everything else, maybe as many as 20 games. If you do that and you take that risk on the first game of the year, that's stupid. You can't take that risk.
Right.
But if this were the last game of the year and it was for all the marbles, we'd take that risk. That's pretty easy to understand.
Right. He's
capable of going out. He's capable of going out and playing and catching the pass, but you just risk more now than if you waited a couple of games.
Jerry, what do you think are? I understand what you're saying. Absolutely. What do you think are realistic expectations for Tyler Smith and then maybe the offensive line across the board? Where obviously you're well aware, fans and myself, we have some concerns.
Well, I think Tyler's going to get man. What does that mean? He's going to get his man. And I think he's going to do a good job of it. Okay. Is he not going to get him all the time? Yes. We need to have somebody there to help him out. We need to keep some out that'll cut some out of the offense. Right. You need to cut it out a little bit and help him out. But I think he'll get man. I think he will get better. I think that's the nature of the position in football. He's got everything we hoped and more when we drafted him. It's exactly what we drafted him for, to come in and be the left tackle. And so he's had a really outstanding camp. All of the things are there. Do I wish we had Tyron? Yes.
Yeah.
Will we get Tyron back? Likely. But in the meantime, he's going to come in, and he's going to get a Harvard doctor's degree in playing left tackle between now and then. Will we pay some price for it? Yes.
Yeah.
Can we win with him paying a price? I think so, yes.
When it comes to your defense, Mike.
Before you talk defense, so our number one goal with Tyler Smith, and hopefully somewhere between now and week 1, the start of the season with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, that maybe we hear some news, and normally they do this right before the weekend kickoff. They do that breaking news that the Cowboys signed someone where everybody's – now the Cowboys signed Jason Peters to the practice squad, and he will get, blah, blah, blah. That could absolutely happen, right, Cowboy Nation? right, like later on, 5, 6 o'clock today if he passes physical. The other thing could happen would be after week 1, you hear the breaking news, the Cowboys bringing in Jason Peters to a 1-year contract, and none of his money will be guaranteed if you go the super cheap way, because after week 1, you don't have to guarantee money to the veterans, okay? Those are 2 possibilities. The third possibility would be, hey, trial by fire, you put Tyler Smith out there, you rip the Band-Aid off, and he figured this thing out on the fly. They drafted him in the first round. My number 1 goal would be right now in the chat. Right now in the chat, do you guys believe Tyler Smith is better than Ty Nsekhe at left tackle? Byron Bell at left tackle? Right? Who else we had? Chaz Green at left tackle. Brandon Knight. Can he be better than those guys out there? Those are the things that we're looking for. If they throw that rookie out there, will he be better than Joshua Ball at left tackle? Matt Waletzko. Those are things that we will have to say to ourselves. We ripping the Band-Aid off. We throwing the baby into the water, into the pool, and see if whether or not this baby can sink or swim, right? I read a report once before that babies actually naturally know how to swim, believe it or not.
Micah Parsons is just being talked about not only locally but nationally as one of the best players in the game. How have you seen him grow from the end of last season right before we start this year?
Well, I see him really. I don't know that it's different, but I see in him a work ethic. I see in him a professional attitude about down to business. It's like Dak has to some degree, and it's to every day get better.
Get better,
and you put that with talent, and it's going to be it's really an amazing combination. But he's very aware, not just on the field but off the field. So he's got a lot of great attributes. We've got a great team in my mind. I want to say great. We've got great supporting cast around him that are going to give us an opportunity to have a really outstanding defense. And you can do this thing with the emphasis on defense. That doesn't mean I just want to keep that number 4 standing, keep him healthy, keep us in the game, have us a good plan, and then give us a chance to make a field goal against Tampa rather than miss it like we did last year.
And y'all are confident that Brett Maher is the guy to make that field goal then, yes?
Yes.
Okay. And then the last question for you, since you were just talking about it, is the confidence level also high that Dak will stay upright and will stay healthy this season?
Very much. If his present condition, if the excellent off season he's had, the excellent camp that he's had, feel as good about it as you could possibly feel. And so we just got to do that. The only time in my entire life that I ever went to the sideline, ever, during a ball game, was with Ernie Zampese and Barry Switzer. And we said that we were going to protect Mark Tuinei. Mark Tuinei was injured, and we were going to keep back in and help him make his blocks. And Aikman was your quarterback. We didn't do it early, and Aikman was getting the hell knocked out of it.
He was.
I went to the sideline and looked at Barry, and I said, guys, roll this clock forward, and you're going to see us going forward for this season without a quarterback. Now, you think we've got problems now. Wait till that happens to us.
Coach Jerry.
Let's do like we said we'd do and keep it back in. Help him out.
Man, Coach Jerry, man, he said he had to go down there to tell Barry Switzer, hey, keep it back in the backfield. Help out Troy Aikman. I wonder if he could have done that with Jimmy, or Jimmy. Jimmy and Jerry probably got into a fight over there, But that was a good excerpt right there. Let me share this from 105.3 The Fan. Coach Jerry, he had to go down there and coach up Ernie and as well as coach up Barry, man, Switzer, man. So shout out to Jerry, man, Coach Jerry. So I'm quite sure if he told those guys, right, that, and if I'm a betting man, I think at that time of those guys' careers that they've been coaching longer, hear me out, than Kellen Moore, right? How old was Barry in 95, 96, 97? Or how old was Ernie Zampese in 95, 96, 97? Y'all help me out, and please let me know. Were they older than what we seen out of Kellen Moore? So I'm quite sure that they had more football knowledge than Kellen Moore. So hopefully Kellen Moore been doing his homework, and, he better listen to Coach Jerry. Keep that back in the backfield if you're an offensive lineman. Can't block. Yes, they were. It's from Monet. Appreciate you so much. All right, so now the phone lines are open. The phone line, the hotline for your mind is 657-390-7391. I appreciate those who've been waiting in queue for your patience there. Can someone put that number in the chat so we can pin it on my YouTube page? If you're on my Facebook page, look at the bottom of the screen. You will see the phone number there, 657-390-7391. That's the hotline for your mind as we get the phone line together, baby.
Call my phone, hit my line. Only ones who down for real, down for line. Keep it super thorough my way on this side. Keep it super thorough my way on this side. Call my phone, hit my line.
Shout out to you, Jay Lombardi. Thank you.
Keep it super thorough
Send with it, clutch with it.
Keep it super thorough my way on this side. Mobbing with my brothers, there's no question. Keep it real.
All right, we got Rob, man. You live.
What's going on, my man?
Nothing to it, Chief. Talk to me, man.
Hey, look at y'all. That man just needs to get out there. Look at him. Then we stole steel in the fire. Look how he turned out.
Oh yeah, we threw him. It didn't look good for us in 2020. I ain't gonna even say that it did, but it did look good for us for 2021.
But you got to thinking now. Steel was an undrafted free agent.
Big facts. Yeah.
His grade wasn't as good as Tyler coming out of college.
True.
And everybody down on Noah Brown, man. But ain't nobody never thought about this right here. We was one that said, man, what Noah Brown know that on the Cowboys that he just grandfathered in, man. It ain't that what Noah Brown know. I think they know something that we don't know. They didn't want to get rid of him because they seen something in him that he ain't never got a chance to show it on the field. I tell you what, ain't no time that he ever got out there and was targeted that he didn't come up with the hit.
I think now. See, I feel what you're saying, Rob. I think his come out game was the Raiders game, right? And that was a game that he had a whole time on the field, and we didn't see much out of him. I do like the fact that Noah Brown did step up this offseason. He lost weight. He looked better in his routes in and out of his cuts, but it's still the area of the unknown because we haven't seen him in about 3-4 weeks now.
Tell you the truth, law. If it's real open man, that's just like they saying we got easy schedule. You cannot predict the team. You can estimate.
Right.
That's all we can do. They estimated from last year that these teams are not going to get no better. But some of them teams on our schedule ain't going to be as bad as they was last year.
True that.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Well, some players degress the next year. Some players just shoot straight to the top.
Right.
So, it's just a year in and year out. But in another thing, I listened to Emmett Smith.
Right.
I looked at that documentary, and Emmitt Smith said something that makes a lot of sense. When they won their first Super Bowl, he said everything on that team came together at the right time.
Mm-hmm.
He said everything came together. He said they got Norv Turner.
Right.
They got their special teams coach the year before, and they the year before they had, I think 91, they had the #1 special team. Well, he said everything went to coming together.
Right.
Yeah, it takes everything to come together to win.
It takes everything, man. Everybody got to be on the same page. Yeah.
Everybody got to be on the same page. And sometimes, look at the Giants, man. That year, you couldn't have told me the Giants was going to go and be the undefeated Bill Belichick team when they was a wild card during playoffs. They looked at like crap. Like you could say it was stuff on the bottom of your feet.
Yeah, they did look like that, Rob. One of the things that I did pull from that year is that they played the Patriots the last game of the season, I believe, or the second game, the last, or something like that. And they had hope because they made them bleed. They made them bleed.
They beat them.
Yep. And I was watching the movie. It barely won. I was watching the movie the other day, an old movie, The Predator. And the Predator, he was killing all of the folks in that little village or what have you. And one of the guys said, hey, the lady, she realized that, hey, this thing is bleeding. And when they realized that, hey, this monster, this creature, it can bleed, meaning that it can die. So they gave them hope because they knew if they continue to figure out ways, they can kill it. And that's what the Cowboys need. They need to continue to have hope that they know for sure all it takes is a couple touchdowns or a big play or a big confidence from the defense. And the offense tend to play better when they know their defense is going, right? Or the defense tend to play better when they know that the offense can get scores. So, yeah, that's what we're looking for, man. It's right now is hope because there's no tangible. It's all intangible. There's no tangible evidence that Noah Brown can do it. It's all intangible.
But he's gonna be another
Still
Brown, man.
another. Hey, we all hope so, man. But I'm holding on. I'm holding on to hope, man. I ain't pressing that panic button. I appreciate you so much, Rob, for calling in.
All right, man. Let him hang.
Let him hang, man. That's my guy, Rob, baby. He always bring the good stuff, man. Yes, indeed. And I got hope, Cowboy Nation. And I'm not being big negative or anything, but there's all intangible things with Noah because we haven't seen it before. We have high expectations, right? Right now, a third of the people say, man, I can get in the ring. You hear people all the time, I can get in the ring with Mike Tyson, right? And then you get punched in the face. You be like, hey, man, which one of y'all hit me? The ref, hey, you hit me too. So that's just how it is, right? Everybody's big and bad until it's time to get into that fight. Everybody have a plan until they get hit in the mouth. So those are things that we have to make sure that if these guys are ready for the moment, right? So that's why I literally said by sure. And I'm not saying I'm hating on Noah Brown. He may just be the next Anthony Brown. He may have that type of season this year, right? He slammed down, looked good out there. But shoot, these last few weeks, man, I was looking at Brandon Smith, and I was like, shoot, give me Brandon. Right? But he is what he is. He on the practice squad. All right, I got my guy, man, MJ. You live from the 206. You in the mix.
What up, Rob?
What's going on with you, man? Talk to me, man.
Hey, man, let's get them lights going for my main man, Rob.
Appreciate it.
Yes, sir. Well,
Yeah.
what I like is, Jerry said the main thing. That's what we always say, y'all. It was like that one year when we had, when they let that young tackle get destroyed against Atlanta. That was common sense. Me and you could have coached that. I was like,
Oh, yeah,
put that
Chaz.
tight end over there.
Chaz Gray.
Yeah. I was like, man, put that tight end over there. Keep him over there. You better not move.
What year
But
was
that's
that?
the
What year was that? 2017 or 2018?
That was before that.
I think it had to be 2017. Y'all help me out. What year did the Atlanta just destroyed us? Claiborne, whatever his first name is, he had 6 sacks on us.
Well, man, made him an all-pro. Got him a new contract.
And he was and then he was talking some noise one year, talking about he gonna try to redo it again, and Dak ate him up, boy. It was 2017. So people fail to realize, and I got to put this in for context. That was Dak Prescott's second year, right? Ever playing in the National Football League. And if you go back to that year, people were expecting Dak Prescott to be like the veterans, right? A veteran quarterback that can slide protection, change up the plays, put somebody on that side, regardless of what the OC is calling or what have you, so that he can get himself up out of there. But Dak, that was his second year. He didn't have to do that much even in Mississippi State. So I'm not giving excuses, but those are the realities, man. That was that man's second year, and they are expecting him to be able to put a Band-Aid over that. I'm quite sure 2022, Dak, he would have been able to come out better in that game, right?
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
So experience goes a long way.
Now, the difference that your boy Tyler's stronger. So he going to, the DN, when we run, that DN is going to get destroyed. Like you said, Lon, when you run to his side and just destroy that defensive end, after a while, he going to go to the coach and, man, he going to be looking when he get his body frame on the ground. That's when they're going to change their game plan.
Adrian Claiborne is his first name. Appreciate y'all, man. Yeah, Adrian. Yeah, go ahead.
So now the middle is they're gonna try to get us in the middle.
Right.
That's right. That's where they're gonna come.
Oh, are you talking about the pressure from the Bucks?
Yeah, they're gonna try to get us in the middle. I hope now Simmons technique wise got better, but he cannot get bulldozed. That's why I said if we did have we didn't have Peters, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
My starting lineup would have been your Collins over there at 66 starting center with Smith. That's our power. We'd have destroyed them. Because even when you were 340 out in the middle and he get ran on like that, getting body slammed, and he going to be wore out by the third or fourth quarter. You see what I'm saying? You work him out. But our receivers, I'm going to tell y'all, like I say, man, that's why I say they're the coach. If me and you was coaching, I'll put up 40 on the Bucks because I got too much speed. They think they got it going on. I'm going to be setting them screens. They got fast linebackers. I'm going to let that rush come in. Screen number 9, screen number 20, screen 21. Still throwing them bombs, throwing bombs to 81.
Let me say this too. The touchdown pass that Dak Prescott threw against the Buccaneers, the pocket collapsed inside. And I can show you right quick, and I don't have no way of rewinding, so bear with me. So this touchdown pass right here, watch how Dak Prescott, he climbed the pocket, and he threw that to my guy CeeDee Lamb. And it goes back to this right here. I believe that, the pocket will collapse. I believe that they will get pressure. Dak Prescott, even at that time, had the wherewithal to still climb the pocket, didn't panic, and he threw that ball in there, and it was a touchdown. I think that he will still have that type of patience with his throws. And keep in mind, last year against Big Vita Vea, technically speaking, that was Tyler Biada's rookie year. Technically, if you really go over everything. And we know that Tyler Biadasz is not the strongest guy on the planet, but he held his own against that Tampa Bay front. And I think that they're going to do the same for the 2022 season.
And they got your other boy from the Bears. You know, hopefully he's not like he used to be. But he going to come too now. You know the big guy they got from the Bears?
Ghost?
Jackal.
Yeah. I know you're talking about. I forgot his name. Yeah,
the one that
Yeah.
Everybody wanted us to sign up.
Yeah, big boy. Yeah. Go, Robbie. I forgot Gold or something like that. I forgot his name. He's at the tip of my tongue.
Number 95, 96. He's a beast.
Yeah, he's a big boy.
He's a big boy too.
But here's another thing. We didn't have Zach Martin last year, so. So we'll be a little bit meatier inside as well with strength. Yeah. My thing
we don't
is
have Connor Williams.
We don't have Connor Williams. So, and I think Connor McGovern, he did a good job against those boys at the right guard. So now he's going to be flipped to the left side. My thing is they must establish the run. What if I told you that the Cowboys average 5.5 yards running against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, but they shied away from it on the outside? So Ezekiel Elliott, I think he's healthy, right? From this day until week 1, I don't think that he have PCL. Hakeem Hicks, that's his name. Appreciate you, Big Sarge. Yeah, appreciate everybody, man. I thought they went and got the other guy too, but they got Hakeem Hicks. All right, so I think that from this day, that if they go into the mindset that we're going to run the ball stubbornly, against those Tampa Bay Buccaneers to open up the pass, we'll be okay.
Yeah, that's what you got to do. Because we could get them. Because everybody keep doubting our receivers. And I'm going to tell you, now, all you Cowboy fans on here, when the man throw for 2 or 3 touchdown passes on them, like 20 or 30 or 40 yards on them, I don't want y'all to be. That's why y'all just won the Super Bowl, because that's how you Cowboy fans do. Oh, my God. Oh, you see Houston? Oh, you see Sammy? Oh, that's what they going to do. So be ready, Law. The day you do the broadcast, and, I'm going to be with the Cowboy Club. It's like 40 of us. And everybody going to lose their mind, But it's all up to, like me and you said, coach, the offensive coordinator, and the offensive line coach. If they do the right way for us, we're going to win the Super Bowl. Because Brady already know the Cowboys is coming. So he going to 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And he going to try to hit us with bombs, too. Because he got some dangerous receivers now.
Now, who could take the top off? Who could take the top off over there?
They got
Chris
from Alabama.
Chris won't be there.
Yeah, he won't be there. They got another little receiver that's fast too.
Y'all let me. He's a 4-3 guy. Let me know if his name, because I think that the only receiver that beat us deep last year was Brown. Oh, they went. Oh, Gage. Is it? Yeah, Gage.
And they got the number 14, 13.
I ain't worried about those big body receivers. Look, the shifty guy that can take the top off defense, that's been normally our issue. But I think that the way our defense is going to play this season, I truly believe, and put the butter knife down, Cowboy Nation, I truly believe that we're going to create enough pressure, we're going to redirect, we're going to get a pick six. Or we're going to get a pick interception. I appreciate you, man, MJ. Before I let you go, man, let everybody know where to find and follow you at, man. Well, not find and follow you, but give people a shout out or something, man. Let me hear it.
Did you make that post of me when I
came up? I didn't have time, man. But go ahead. Let people know.
I want to say, Cowboy fans, don't panic. It's the first game of the year. Let's take it one game at a time. The key, whoever make it in the playoffs, then you got a chance to win the Super Bowl. If we don't make the playoff, then y'all can cuss me out. I give you permission.
No doubt.
I would take it like a man. Say, Ma, we didn't make the playoff. But all I want to say, hit them lights and no more crying. And how about them Cowboys, and tell Coach Marv, get on there and talk some good stuff about that offensive line coach. That's our weakling, him.
No doubt, man. Appreciate you, man. Thank you, MJ, man. Let's go.
Always.
All right. So, Lady Jessica, I guess she was next, but she ran off. All right, so we're going to go with JT, man, and then we got D-Shift. Okay, JT, you're live.
Hey, what's good with it, Law?
Nothing to it, Chief.
So listen, man, like we got some wholesale moves that we could make, but overall, I still think this team is pretty solid. Like I think one thing we need to worry about is when are our wide receivers going to be healthy, Law? Like I heard the news about Michael Gallup, but we still have. I think we still need to address, like, can we have enough wide receiver depth to really make it easier on Dak?
Make it easier on Dak? I think the best way would be actually running the ball, open up play action. I think that Dak Prescott is one of the better quarterbacks in play action looks, and I truly believe the defense, if we use field, I think that if we play the field game, make the field smaller, shorter, I think that this offense can still rock. I truly believe CeeDee Lamb can find the soft spots in zones. Even if they roll coverage his way, we will have to have our other wide receivers to win their one-on-ones. And that is the area of the unknown, right? We don't know if Noah Brown can consistently win his one-on-ones. We don't know if Simi Fehoko or Jalen Tolbert or what's the other guy, Dennis Houston can win. So it's an area of I hope that these guys can do it. I hope. That's all I got.
Right. So again, like, yeah, the running game obviously has to be like a good part of it. I think what I was specifically addressing more so with the receivers is because, like, any game plan that's not balanced is doomed to fail. Like, if you run the ball like 90% of the time or pass it 90% of the time, it won't be successful. Like NFL teams and defensive players are too sophisticated to give them a steady diet of the same thing. Like there has to be balance, Like that's where I think, like, running the ball obviously is going to be something that's going to be important. Well, my question is, my ultimate question about us running the ball, will there be a time where Ezekiel Elliott is going to be forced to play fullback? Like, let's say he has like a down season this year. Like, will Kellen Moore be creative and start using them more as like a more of a H-back, fullback type Law?
I think that the writing is on the wall if that's the case. It's been many of years for people to say, okay, how is the Tony Pollard, Ezekiel Elliott administration will go? And if this will be a down year for Ezekiel Elliott, then I think that they're going to make some type of drastic moves. Now, Ezekiel Elliott got a no-trade clause on his contract, as well as Ezekiel Elliott contract is, I guess, all the way into the year 2024 or something like that. So if you can't figure out ways to use Ezekiel Elliott like he need to be utilized now, then it's just a lost cause for the Cowboys. I truly believe that will be the situation. So they should use two-back sets, not make it saying, okay, this will be the fullback, because Ezekiel Elliott, let's be real, he's still not a full. He's big, he's strong, but he's not a fullback.
Right. So the only reason I bring up the fullback idea is just because, honestly, I feel like it's one of those situations where the coordinator we have in Kellen Moore really struggles to really have some kind of creative concept. And so what he'll end up doing, I feel like, is that he'll end up either passing the ball way too much or he won't involve two running backs. So I feel like the only way you really can cater to what Kellen Moore, I guess, likes to do is put in Zeke at fullback to where Pollard could get more run, because if not, you're just going to have a situation where Zeke gets all the carries, even if he's not playing well. Like, I just think Kellen Moore, to a certain extent, needs to have more of a creative mind and not really look at a game as like he's calling. Because, again, look, I understand, like, if you don't have the offensive people, like if you're like the Bears, for example, who just don't have offense ever, like, okay, I get it, like your playbook is short, but if you have the pieces, you shouldn't be like calling that as much as you are, Law.
Right. I feel what you're saying. At this point, if they utilize both, I think it's dual back, right? I look at the Saints on how they ran their both backs when they had Alvin Kamara and I forgot this kid's name, Ingram. I look
Mark
at
Ingram.
that. Yeah, Mark Ingram. And then when they got rid of Ingram, they had Alvin Kamara and the other power back. I look at those type of setups that the Cowboys should utilize both backs in the backfield at the same time. I think that those things create nuances for defenses, especially everybody go all in to stop Ezekiel Elliott. I truly believe that Kellen Moore should be able to go back at last year's tape, see what worked for them, especially in that opening drive against the Chargers, a series that they had against the Chiefs, and a series that they had against the Raiders when they had both running backs in the backfield at the same time, and go back to those looks. Be successful with that, even in the playoff when they had both backs in the backfield against the 49ers. We scored on that drive, or utilizing both backs. He need to get back to the recipe with that and the creativity with that. And like you said, we'll find out if he can keep that creativity, because those have been the issues with my guy, Kellen Moore.
Yeah, and one more thing, Lon. This is kind of an interesting concept, but I really feel like, can we get a second tight end that can actually be the role guy? Like, because, look, Dalton Schultz, look, he's fine, but, like, he doesn't have speed, Law. He's not a burner. Like, he's not a guy that you know can kill you down the field. Like, he's your classic, like, older Jason Witten type. Remember when he got older, like, he was basically just, 7 yards in a cloud of dust like that. That's Dalton Schultz, Law. Right, and I think we need a complimentary tight end to put beside him that can stretch the field. Like, we do need that type of guy, because if teams know that Dalton Schultz is going to be getting a lot of the balls and stuff, they're not going to threaten you deep. Like, they're going to just basically place a linebacker 7 to 10 yards down the field, and just basically just sit on those routes. Like, we need a role guy, Law.
Well, my whole thoughts with Dalton Schultz is the passer rating when targeted from Dak Prescott was 122. So that's nothing to sneeze at. And he was Dak Prescott's safety blanket. He may not be a burner, but he's a damn good safety blanket for Dak Prescott. And I truly believe that Dak Prescott will still utilize Dalton Schultz in that like. And as far as getting a burner tight end, let that be your guy. Maybe Jake Ferguson. I know he's not the fastest of the feet there, or Peyton Hendershot. Let those guys be the high tight end, so that they can help out with everything. But I truly believe what Dalton Schultz do for this team and this organization, he's okay. He may not be the fastest, but he's reliable. And I think that he's a tick faster than the latter ends of Jason Witten's career with Dak Prescott. So all I can say is right now it will be too late, right? If the Cowboys want to get a faster tight end to be with Dalton Schultz, I think that will happen for next year in the draft. But then again, we have to see what Jake Ferguson can do, right?
Jake Ferguson. Yeah, I get you, Law.
You get what I'm saying? Because we don't have any more resources out there as far as those quick tight ends that can be a complementary of Dalton Schultz, what he do out there on the field.
Right.
Yeah.
Hey, Law Nation, stand up, man.
Appreciate you, man. Thank you so much, JT. And I hope you guys get what I'm saying. I think the world of Dalton Schultz. Hopefully he can continue to excel. I do know that he probably looking for one of the larger contracts at tight end now, based upon his stats or what have you. He's looking at it, last year's stats. He's saying, okay, Dallas Goedert got $14 or close to $13 million. Hey, I want that, because my numbers last year was better. So I get it, right? And his agency is going to look at the Cowboys organization and say, hey, don't shortchange me. And like I said, when passer rated, when targeted, Dalton Schultz, Dak Prescott to Schultz, 122. So he was reliable in a sense, and he catches the ball. He only had 2 to 3 drops last season. So let's keep that up. Unseen Unheard says if we keep Dak clean, we will make a run in the playoff this year. I agree. I flat out agree. I do. All right, what we're going to do now is,
the conference has been locked.
For those who try to call in, we're going to try to get it quick because I got to bounce. So I got my guy D Schiff. You're live from the 409. Let's go.
Hey, what's going on, Law?
No doubt.
Yeah, I think Hendershot, man. I really think he's going to have way more upside than Dalton Schultz. Like, I can kind of remember Dalton Schultz's rookie year, and I didn't really see him flashing the way Hendershot is. Just a different vibe, or just the confidence he had, man. Just kind of when he scored that touchdown, took that hit, like,
right.
I don't know, just kind of reading his vibe. I can't really give you no tangibles or nothing, but I'd go out on a limb and say he's going to be a guy that we'd be comfortable paying or feeling like we'd want to pay. More comfortable than Dalton anyways, when that comes around. So we're going to look back and just realize that this offseason we spent way too much time talking about Dalton Schultz.
True that.
Other team with offensive linemen, I think I know we feel like we can kind of move guys around, but you got to think, Law, like if you're working a job, right, where you straight getting Employee of the Year every year, right?
Mm-hmm.
And your company tells you, well, we want to move you to a different spot because we don't really have you, we don't really have nobody there. We need you in that spot. Would you want to move from your spot where you've been getting all these accolades, Law?
You really don't want to, but, they talk about team players, and when I called you in to make the adjustments, did you make them,
or would you do a supervisor's job if they're only paying you workers' money?
Once again,
you know what I mean?
Yeah. Now you don't want to, right? You're a company man. You say, yeah,
the business. I feel like it's really. I think people are overlooking the business of this. I think, yes, it's common sense. Like Zach Martin should be playing left tackle, but at the same token, like you got to go into the business of it. I think La'el Collins, once he starts getting that tackle money, you throw him back in guard. Then what's Steven and them gonna say when it's time to make more money, or any owner? Well, you spend all this time playing guard, so. Get into a big debate of whether or not they should be paying you guard or tackle money. So I think that's just kind of the thing going on with the. You can move around those young guys because they haven't established themselves.
Right.
You can move him around and they're kind of hungry, but once they get, once they become millionaires and that luxurious home got them feeling nice, and those bills start going up, they gonna kind of tell you to kind of back away from the table a little bit. I think when it comes down to like rushing and teams rushing, I know we talk about like, want to be a top tier rushing team, and we talk about the Browns offensive line and the Colts, and we give the Eagles. When I look at this top 10 of teams who rushed last year, check them out: the Eagles, Colts, Ravens, Browns, Titans, Bills, Niners, Patriots, Cowboys, and Cardinals. I could argue that out of that top 10, only the Bills, Cowboys, and Cardinals actually have, Bills definitely for sure with the franchise.
Right.
Cowboys for sure. And, Dak and Kyler are kind of in the same boat when it comes to it, but they're still bona fide franchise quarterbacks. So when you look at the rest of them, Mac Jones, Garoppolo, Tannehill, Baker, Lamar was hurt last year, right?
Right. He missed 4 games, or played 4 games on that gimpy ankle.
Jalen Hurts and Carson Wentz. Those top 10, it's kind of like, well, they had to run to protect their quarterbacks, right?
Right.
So I think and then you look at the bottom 10 of the people who didn't lead the league in rushing, you got the Buccaneers are down there, the Rams and the Bengals are down there in the bottom 10.
Right.
Of teams that didn't lead in rushing, because they're throwing. So I think context got to be put in place when you're talking about, ultimately you want that balance. But when we're kind of giving praise to all these teams and their offensive lines, a lot of them missed the playoffs too. So, yeah.
Yeah, you're right on that, man.
That's kind of that. So
I got no rebuttal to that. I think that most of us look at running as you got to have the will to run and know when to run, right? You got to make sure, you dictate. Like, I really want us to run the ball, not just to run the ball for running ball's sake. I want us to run the ball so that we can get looks, like 8-man in the box, 9-man fronts, so that Dak Prescott can hit his outsides, right? And that's one of the things that we're complaining about from 2016, 17, and 18 is that dogging. Dak Prescott, he can't hit his one-on-ones onto the outside. Right, and we were saying that when you have a veteran quarterback, they would look at this and they'll rub hands together and say, "Yeah, I wish I have those looks because I know for sure it's one-on-one to the outside. I got my number 1 wide receiver with a single high safety. I can manipulate that all day." And those are things that I wish I wish that we were able to get out of the young Dak Prescott, but we had to go through the growing pains. And then somewhere between 2018, latter part of that, 19 and 2020, teams started to play Dak Prescott a little differently. They don't really play that single high shell look, which I wish they go back to, but they don't fear the run game anymore. They fear the throwing of Dak Prescott.
Yeah,
believe
man.
it or not.
And so then again, when you look at weeks 2 through 5,
right,
we played last year. That was before Zeke's PCL, I guess. He got hurt in the Giants game, right?
Right.
You had an average of maybe like, I want to say, what's the numbers I was looking at?
I mean, just collectively, we average 120 to 130 yards a game.
And he was averaging like 5.6, 5.6 a carry.
And that's the sweet number, man, if we can get back to that. Yep.
Yeah, that was the washed up guy, right?
Right, that's what most people would say. But I appreciate you, D-Shift, man. I appreciate you so much, man.
All right, man. Take it easy, Love.
Yes, indeed. Yes, my guy, D-Shift, man. With good information. All right, so we're going to make sure we take care of all of these callers. We're going to put the clock game on, and everybody get like this. When it get down to 0, we're going to roll, okay? All right, and there's no disrespect to you guys, okay? I just got to bounce. It's now with Henry from the 936. You're live. Turn it down, Hen. I'm going to get back with you then, Hen. All right, and I got Banks, man, from the 757. You live.
Law, what's going on, man?
Nothing to it, Chief. Talk to me, man.
Yeah, man, going off what Jerry said about the, as far as the cap space and getting value out of pretty much their dollars.
Yeah. Yellow. We lost you, Banks, man. All right. We let my guy from the 870. You live.
Hey, Law, how's everything going with you?
Doing great.
Yep.
It's my guy Cecil, right? Cecil, right?
Yeah, Cecil.
I remember that voice, man.
What I'm called about is just, we can get technical, but the main thing is we got to block, what's his name, Anata?
Vita Vea, yeah.
Yeah, Vita Vea, that's right, Vita Vea. If we don't block him, none of this stuff's going to get done because he just ate up our center last year, Yeah. And if we want to run, it's going to have to happen that way. And at the same time, I believe Kevin Moore, he's got to get a feel for the running game because he'll run a little bit. If it gets stopped, he's just passing the rest of the time. You got to, you had said it earlier where he needs to don't give up on the run,
Right. Don't abandon it, man. You got to, it's a thing where you got to get into the flow of game, right? Get into the flow of game.
Right.
Don't go in I, and then shotgun. Like, get into the flow of game. You got to throw out an I sometimes.
Right. It's a physical game, and you want to impose your will, and you get physical, then, they're going to pretty much respect you that much more, and then you can throw on them, so it's very important to do that. But look, I know there's other callers, and you're going to shorten it. So anyway, man, it's always nice talking with you. You have a nice day, okay?
Anytime, man. It's my guy, man, Cecil. Yeah, good call from him. Hey, you guys got 2 minutes, so 2 minutes is a long time. You just got to score a touchdown within 2 minutes. So, let's go with it. Appreciate you. And we got my guy from the 970. Oh, you're live, my dog. What's good?
How about them Cowboys?
Yeah. My God, I love that energy, man.
I that yesterday.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
I was waiting for you to say it, man. You kind of hurt my feelings, man. I thought I hurt your feelings.
I know
I didn't get that energy no more, man. I was like, man, I done got my guy down.
Before I forget, there was something I wanted to ask you about. Hey, when are we going to see a game where Micah Parsons actually wins us the game? What game do you think that'll be? Where he acts, all the great players, they have that game where they just take over a game.
Yeah.
When you're that great, as good as they're calling him, what is that game going to be where he actually takes over and wins it for us?
I think he won that game last year against the Chargers for us. If he don't force that fumble on Justin Herbert, right? I think Justin goes in and score, and I think they win.
That's a good one. What about the New England game in overtime? He wasn't much into that one. I know he was. They had him kind of blocked. When you watch the end of that game in overtime,
right?
I don't think he had any plays in that game. He didn't cause nothing in overtime, did he?
Nah, you're right on that one. If my memory serves me correct.
What I mean? The great ones, they live for that, don't they?
They do.
That's their spotlight.
I think he would have won the game for us against the Broncos. He had a hell of a game that game, and the Chiefs game.
Mm-hmm.
It's just that our offense stunk on the Broncos game and the Chiefs game. You can't say that he stunk in those games.
No, but why did we lose them games if he was that good?
Offense lost those 2 games. You got to say the offense lost those 2 games.
I mean, but can't the defense win us a game? Are we not that good?
I'm going to answer that off, but let me go ahead and let me hear you say it one more time, man. How about them Cowboys?
You're fine. Hey, how about them Cowboys?
Yeah. That's my guy, man. Great points, but Parsons, I'm trying to go back to those games that he's talking about. I think that if our offense gave us this much against the Chiefs, man, you got to say that game, baby. I mean, he had a sack fumble. He had another sack that was crucial in that game. Our offense just wet the bed. In the Broncos game, oh, my gosh, Parsons was everywhere. What another game he was just everywhere. You can talk about the Raiders game. They kind of smoked us with that call on I think if they don't call that call, that it was a 3rd and long or what have you, and they call a BS call, a bullsugar call, roughing or a late hit on the quarterback on Parsons when he was clearly making a hustle play. I think that we would have looked at that game differently, right? Parsons was everywhere on Thanksgiving Day. What's another good game? Was it the Cardinals game? He created a lot of pressure. And we only lost by a few points against the Cards and the Raiders. But the KC game, I think which put it like this, Cowboy Nation, what was Parsons' best game last season? It had to be the Broncos, right? Or it had to be the KC game. It one of those 2 games, but I doubt it if we look back and say, well, Parsons can't be that game player or game changer. I think that he will be. I get it. A lot of people give Parsons flack against the 49ers game. Well, the Washington game, that was a good game too by Parsons. The Chiefs game was Parsons' best. Okay, this from Veda. The Saints game, I think that was J-Ron Kerr's best game, the Saints game, right? But, I give it to you guys. The Chargers, Broncos, KC. The 49ers game, I heard a lot of people give Parsons flack in that game. He was running with his tongue out, man. He was being held left and right. I truly believe that the Cowboys, Minnesota game was underrated. Yeah. Parsons is that dude. All I'm looking for, if we can marry Parsons up with someone else that can get pressure, and it could be Sam Williams this year. He's just so fast, and he may take him a minute, may take him 2 or 3 games to get his playing legs up under him. But we'll find out. By far is the Washington team. You guys shout out to my guy, man, from the 970. He giving me some homework tonight. I'm going to really look back at all of the games and see what really game stood out for Parsons. From the 240, you're live. 240, you're live.
What's up, Lord? This is Charlie G, man. I'm always on the line with you, brother.
Appreciate you. You made a donation earlier, right?
Yes, sir. And that's why I was like, man, he didn't even shout me out. But no, I already know you got a lot going on and a lot of people on here.
Yeah.
I'm a big time Cowboys fan, man, and I just think that what I said earlier about Jerry, I think all of them had plans,
right?
Knowing that they wanted to let Amari Cooper go and start moving on. Cause they job, like, I'm not saying they broke the team down, but that people had to go because of money purposes,
right?
And other people had to be paid that we wasn't going to pay. But the point I'm making, I think we're going to be in for a surprise this year. I think I'm looking at Dak this year, of him having Zeke and Pollard. I think they're going to be a dark horse team to where I think they're going to be better than what y'all think they're going to be.
Oh, wow.
And that's offensive line as well. Even though we lost offensive linemen, I just think they're going to be better this year because we had a lot of returning players who was with the team for a couple years, like Noah Brown. I think he's going to be better this year. That's just my opinion.
So I got them going 13-4. So I'm pretty much right on par, right?
I got 12. I got 12.
12-5?
So I got 12 games. Yes.
Okay. Well, hey.
So I got them winning the division.
Okay.
I just don't. I'm not a believer of Jalen Hurts. That's just me.
Okay,
I could be wrong, but I don't believe him.
Right.
But I got Sam Williams, and I got Micah Parsons, and I got Anthony Barr. I just think the defense is going to be the key spot. I just think we're going to have an overall. People talk about Mike McCarthy. I know I got 2 minutes, man, but people talk about Mike McCarthy. I just think that this year is going to be a year that he has to do what he has to do, because if not, Sean Payton is coming. That's just the way I look at life.
Yeah, I mean, that's a hell of a situation that he's up against, and we see it. So I hope that he can just say, hey, I got my back against the wall. Let me coach my ass off, you know?
Right.
I appreciate you, man, Charlie.
I just think not a problem, man.
Yes, indeed, man. Appreciate you for the donation as well, man.
Always.
Hey, you gonna say it, man? You gonna say it? Let me hear you say it, man.
I'm from Maryland, and I'm a fan. I like Foots too. He's my guy. Big Game James, and but how about them Cowboys, man? Let's roll.
Yes, indeed, man. Let's roll with it, man. That's my guy, man. Charlie G, man. Good call from him. Hey, in his super chat, he says, I think Jerry telling the truth to a point. They had a plan to cut Cooper, right, and move on in his business. His biggest word is value. Coop wasn't value anymore. So that was his super chat read. And let me see if I got anyone else who sent me a super chat. And I appreciate you guys. If I missed out on your super chat, I charge it to my head, not my heart. I really appreciate you guys for help supporting the nation, help growing the nation, and all that you guys do. Do me a big favor. If you can, hit that subscribe button, share this content, let a friend or a neighbor know where to go when they want to tune in to Cowboys Sports Talk and beyond. He brought up some good points about all of these things, that we're going to be better than what we think that the Cowboys presented themselves. One, this is a war of attrition, right? We're talking about the Cowboys scrambling for our left tackle. I think that even the Eagles, they had an injury. If you're an Eagle fan, let me know what happened. And I'm not picking at you guys. I think that you guys got a hurt player. I think his name is Miles Sanders. He's out with a hamstring or have hamstring issues. I think that that's also a situation, whereas you guys picked up Trey Sermon to see if he can be a Band-Aid to that. Also, I think that you guys got your tackle, Dylan. I think that he's hurt, right? So everybody's dealing with array of injuries or array of things that happen that you say to yourself, hey, I didn't see this happening. I didn't know that this would happen. I think that even the Washington team, they lost out on their running back, and we hope all is well with him as far as his recovery. Sanders is back now. Okay, appreciate you for that, East Camden. So Sanders is back. I think that they're going to slowly, because hamstrings tend to say, surprise, I'm here. Those type of things. Who else? The Giants, I believe they have Thibodeau. He's battling with some injuries and things like that. They kind of like 50-50 with him. Even the Washington Commanders, they have issues with their guy, Chase Young. He may not be available until, week 5, week 6. So he's on PUP. So I get it. Like, we focus in on the Cowboys, right? But the number one goal, Cowboy Nation, is to win your division. And the second goal is to win a playoff game. Those are baby steps. The third goal is to win another playoff game, right? Look, you literally, if you win your division, right, which puts you at a stronger or a higher chance to be the NFC number one seed, right? Meaning that now all you got to do is win 2 games and you are in the Super Bowl, right? That's how that goes, right? So that's the number one goal because it's a war of attrition. But what I don't want the Cowboys to do, ladies and gentlemen, to peak now, right? For everybody saying, hey, man, we look dog good in September. No, we got some things that we got to be better at. We got some things that we want to improve at. And then right around October, at the latter part of October, you should have a clear idea what this team is about, right? Team led with defense or a team led with your offense. You should have a good mindset that, okay, I know that we can pull out close games, right? There should be some close games that you win. There should be games that in this year of the Cowboys that you had no business winning, right? But now all of a sudden a special team, kickoff return, and now everybody rallies around the Cavante Turpin, right? There should be a game that you blow out the opposition, right? Now you know how that feels, right? There should be a game that you overcome the officials. All of those things put together makes the team, right? So, and that's what happened in the 90s. Well, like people fail to realize. Like, we didn't go undefeated in the 90s. We lost some games. We lost some games we had no business losing to. Though there should be something like that, too, on this schedule, right? You had no business losing to the Texans. Watch Eastside get crunk, right? You had no business losing to probably the Chicago Bears or someone, right? But that's the reality check that you look back and you look everybody in the eyes and say, what the hell are we here for, right? Are we here to look good? Are you smelling yourselves? Let's get back focused. Let's lock in. Let's play better. That is life. Look, you look through success journeys. It's not a line to go just like this. It's a lot of peaks and valleys, right? But what you want to do is fool around and say, okay, we got a group of 53 guys or 46 guys out there on the field, right? That, man, in November and December, we red hot. January come around, boy, we unstoppable. Because low-key, that got to be the mindset that you guys got to have in January. And I know, as long as my beard is, right, we didn't play a lot of games in January, right? We've been watching a lot of games, Cowboy Nation. So that should be the talking points too. Like, look, we want to play a lot of games in January. But we can't skip the process. There's no shortcuts to this. Execute the game plan, right, Funk? Yeah. So those are the football talks that should be happening. But you can't play January and September. You can't. These guys can't be looking at January and October, right? They can't be doing all of that. They can't be talking about, oh, well, we're going to start winning when we get tired, when that meat reattaches itself to the bone, right? We can't be talking about that. The now moment is here. Boy, I should be having my music playing in the background because I'm giving you guys some of that good football talk now that should be going on with this, right? They should not be looking at this saying, well, the aficionados. I don't want to hear for the 2022 any players talking about, hey, we lost the game for the aficionados. I don't want to hear Mike McCarthy talking about the aficionados. Leave that to us. We can do all of that. But on that field, those group of guys need to come together and play some football and hold each other accountable so that if somebody false starts, that they treat that as like, man, you sleeping with my wife type of stuff, and hold those players accountable, right? Each one teach one. Those boys need to be looking at it like that, Cowboy Nation. That is the reality. Because if you want to win in the National Football League, you got to say to yourself, I can't put this team in that type of situation. I can't be doing holding unless it's going to save your quarterback from getting creamed. I can't be getting costly penalties as it relates to PI, offense or defense. You got to make sure that everybody know that everybody got to be on the same page. And Tampa Bay, All of those guys, all 46 of those guys that's out there are your number one enemy. You shouldn't be looking at Tampa Bay, saying, all right, now I got to pay attention to Cincinnati. No, it should be only red line, target in on the Tampa Bay. You knock a guy down, don't even help him up. Stand over, you lay on a guy, big boy, big bow, lay on him a little extra longer, right? Roll, put all your weight on him to get up, right? That should be the mindset. If I run you over, Ezekiel Elliott drop that head on somebody, don't look to see if they're okay. They are your enemy. Hey, man, before the game, hey, man, I like to change jerseys. No, I don't want your jersey, right? All of that jersey swap stuff is for the new kids, right? That's what they do now, right? There was never been a jersey swap back in the 80s, the 70s, the 80s, and the 90s, right? In the early parts of 2000. Talking about jersey swap. Shoot, you ain't finna touch this sacred colors. No. We'll talk about jersey swap in the off season, right? we going to get this thing going the best way possible, Cowboy Nation. Shout out to you, Sadiq. Shout out to you so much, man, for helping the nation out so much, for your love. But I come here to tell you guys right now, all what I said is true. And some people will say, nah, man, we like the friendly new era of football, right? Where you playing the fantasy football, where you got CeeDee Lamb on your team and Jamar Chase on your team, right? And you playing with the Patriots defense. That's why I don't even play fantasy. Shout out to the fantasy football people. Shout out to y'all, though, right? This is war. This is time to get nasty with it, right? This is no friendship.
Spartans! What is your profession?
This is Sparta! This is what we about, baby. Let's say body be punished for hard living. Hands on the straps of prayers, so Father, please forgive me. Police be rushing when they see me. I flooded America's Most Wanted, live on TV like pleasure and pain. We stuck in this game, right? Holler my name, we all gonna die. We bleed through similar veins. How can you panic? You heard the gun blast. It's on the worth, baby. Come on, that's what we need to be bringing out right now. Bodies, blood be shed, right? Bones be crushing. That's what we need. That's what we need to have out there, right? None of this kissing and holding hands. This is what you put all of that sweat equity out there on the field for in Oxnard. Granted, at least you had it at 72 degrees, right? Some coaches would say, no, we're going to keep you right here in Texas. We're going to preheat you for the season, right? At 90 to 110 degrees. No more of this fluff stuff, right? Come on. The mindset need to be here, right? Y'all already know, if there's one thing a man should always do, mainly to himself be true. Never allow someone to change your point of view unless what they bring makes sense to you. Never judge a man by sight alone, nor by the height he has grown. And when speaking, keep it at a moderate tone, because raised voices turns hearts into stone. You see, in the beginning, it was brother, our rivalry brother. How about them Cowboys? The morals of life: live, love, and respect for another. Then there are those who will try to be smart. They'll take a decent man to alter his heart, to seek to rip him apart. Those man, no man should call a friend, because they bend lies around the truth until it makes their end. Cowboy Nation, write this down. I know you guys know what I'm about to say. If you want a thing bad enough to go out there and fight for it, to work day and night for it, to give up your time and your peace and your sleep for it, if all of your desires of it makes you quite mad enough that you don't get tired of it, and it makes you hold all other things tawdry and cheap, if life itself seems empty and useless without it, and all that you scheme and dream is about it, if you'll gladly go out there and sweat for it, fret for it, or plan for it, and lose all terror of your mind for it, if you will simply go out there week one with all of your capacity, strength, and scarcity, with faith, hope, and confidence?
What is your profession?
Don't leave nothing on the table, baby. I'm hungry. Where the food at? I ate it already. If dogged and grim and besieged and besetted with the help of Almighty, you will get it. Ain't this right, Cowboy Nation? It's time out has been for 26 years. They scoff at y'all. They talking about you. They ridicule your name. They sully in everything that you do. They say that you not built for to be in this fire, right? You're folding up like a wallet or a lawn chair. They counted you out. They saying that you can't fight. You got to be relentless at this moment, right? Don't be folding up like a wallet or a lawn chair. Let's get ready to go out there and hit something. If it move, you hitting it, right? And if it's talk, you make sure that you shutting it up, right? That's the things that you got to do right now, right? This is an assassin warfare right here. This is the day when the clock hits 0. Win, lose, or draw, they know that that team with the silver and blue gave it all. They know that that team with the silver and blue bruised and battered them, right? Nearly put them in the hearse. They said, man, Law, are these boys about to bury them 6 feet? No, 12 feet. They coming. They coming. That should be the mindset of everybody on that day. No friends, no relationships, just pain, which will equals the pleasure. That's been my time. I really thank you all for yours. I'm crunk now. I'm ready to go now. We're going to run it up, baby. One love. Shout out to everybody. Roll credits. Come on. No prisoners, baby. Jay Worthy. True.
I've been really in the field, love the rush, I love the feel. Lately, I just wanna run it up.
Come on.
Don't need no deals, I make the deal. Have to take it to a meal. Lately, I just wanna run it up.
Yeah. Run it, baby. Here, Kenny the Shark. Shout out to the super chats. Eastside Harold. Tyson, Kemp, Jay, Percy, Charlie, G.
Need them ones, I need them fives, need them tens, I need that change to the sink, got blues inside.
Sadiq with Charles, appreciate you. Put some fire on this thing, baby. To the game.
I'm with L, yeah, I'm with T.
Who with Law, baby? Come on.
I'm with Bay, yeah, I'm with J, yeah, I'm with Chuck, and now still the same.
Where my day ones at, baby?
You switch sides off for the bag, and that's worth more to me. I mix Nike with designer, I experiment. You just rock what's on the shelf, and I'm not feeling it. Search for the one, but baby girl, it's nothing real as this. Can't trust a soul, I keep a hammer, call it too legit.
Roll those credits, baby. Shout out to Ghost Face Trilla.
Lately, I just wanna run it up. Don't need no deals, I make the deal. Have to take it to a meal. Lately, I just wanna
shout out to you,
run
Paul.
it up.
Monet, appreciate you. Winfro.
Lately, I just wanna run it up.
Come on.
Count that too, count up. Lately, I just wanna run it up.
Come on.
Yeah. I just be off the dome. I never own no chrome. Too many foes and clothes.
Come on.
Yeah.
I imagine that right now you're feeling a bit like Alice. Tumbling down the rabbit hole.
Tell them.
Don't need no deals, I make the deal. Have to take it to a meal.
When you pray for rain, you gotta deal with the
Come on.
Kinda check the song. Lately, I just wanna run it.
Get your hands off of that panic, baby. Come on.
Lately, I just wanna run it up.
Come on, baby. Hey, somebody told me the other day that the 4 Letter Network got a panic button now. You know they be watching. You know that's okay. Hey, just shout me out next time for the creativity. Full Ladder Network. Y'all already know how this goes. Let's continue to grind the shine. Let's lower it down. This right here. Come on. Y'all let me know what episode that was too, by the way. You know, they got panic buttons over there now. It's okay. Come on. Hey. It's cool and it's fire. That's how much flames we be spitting out over here. Sing it.
Take a drag of my cigarette. Breathe me out, breathe you in.
And again.
Yeah.
Again.
Bite of my burger, babe. Save the last bite.
I've got balls of steel.
For you. Ooh. Don't let the street lights hit you all alone.
Don't let the street lights hit you. Nope.
You know it's dangerous to go alone.
Ideas don't determine who's right.
Don't let the street
Power determines who's right.
Suck. Play it too. I'll follow wherever you go.
One love, baby.
Whatever you do, play it too.
The B Zone, I love that. A-Roll, another one.
And another one.
Come on.
Why you not entertained? I think you was the one to love.
If you're watching all the way to this point and you have not smashed the like button, come on.
Don't let the street lights change you all alone. Shame.
You can share this to a neighbor or a friend. Come on.
Don't let the street lights hit you.
Why this mother can only no, that mother don't miss, man. In the heat of battle, in the heat of controversy,
you go.
We about one love, baby. If you're day one, let me see D1 in the chat. Come on.
Gotta throw a party for my day ones. Then forever doesn't feel that far. Everybody fake now. So far, so far. If a paper crane can fly, then forever doesn't feel that far. So far, so far. If a paper crane can fly, fly on, fly on, fly on, fly on, fly on.
Shout out to you, Tony and Verde, my day ones. I got 2 day ones in there. Oh, I got Party with the Stars of day one. Oh, my goodness, man. I got some day ones up in here, man. Jay Worthy, let's go. Appreciate y'all. Let's get on up out of here. And for those who are not.
You could not live with your own failure.
We gone. One love. Jameson Taylor and Jason Winfro. Appreciate you.
You have to.
Until next
be your
time.
biggest fan. And when things are really tough and they're really rough and nothing's working, but there's something inside.
Gotta throw a party for my day ones.
Follow that.
Look at this. Somebody come look at this.
No!